up, everybody? Alex here from Heavy New York once again, back at the Gramercy Theater, and we got the almighty Warbringer here opening up for Dark Tranquility. Thanks for being here, man.
No problem, dude. We are here by schedule, actually.
Yeah. It's great to have you here. Last time you were here, you were kicking ass with Jungle Rot and Destruction and Demons Within, and now you're here with Dark Tranquility and Striker. So how's the tour been going so far?
Well, the beginning, we got a lot of shows canceled because of the hurricane. We were all down in Florida. We had to evacuate. Everyone was totally safe. Everyone's asking me if I'm safe. I'm like, yeah, we're so far from danger. It's nothing. The only thing we had was, like, traffic and difficulty finding, like, water at gas stations, and that was really it for us. But the shows canceled hurt. But then around, like, day 5 of what was supposed to be our shows, we started, and it just became completely normal, smooth sailing. This entire tour goes without a single day off.
Really?
Not one, yeah.
Oh, that sounds exhausting, but...
Well, it's actually the way you want to do it, because if you have a day off, you're, from a business perspective anyway, you're wasting time. And, you know, the tour bus ain't free or anything. Yeah. So it's better, if you can handle it, it's better to play a show every day.
Yeah. It's also a waste of alcohol, too, right?
A waste? I don't know. If you drink it, it's not a waste. I don't really drink a ton on tour, actually, because if I do, I won't still hit the high notes or anything. So I have to kind of... Yeah. Keep it to like 3 to 5 beers a night, and then take some nights off. You know.
Okay. Yeah. Lemmy's up there going like, "Bitch, please."
Well, I mean, he's up there for a reason too. You know.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, maybe I don't know. There's the whole thing with him where he said something like he went to get, you know, Keith Richards allegedly got his blood changed, and Lemmy went to see if he could do it. Because he was like, well, I've obviously been keeping some pretty gnarly habits, and he goes to the doctor, and the doctor checks out his blood and says, forget it, clean blood would probably kill you. You know, that's a story I heard, and I thought that was a good one. No, I'm kind of the opposite, though. You know, I first and foremost, I'm here for the rock and roll. Like, my attitude is any idiot can get fucked up, so people who are all about like doing that on no, you're here to play the goddamn music, and then all the other stuff is auxiliary benefits, and you don't let your auxiliary benefits and like fun side shit override or affect or impede the reason you're actually here, which is to give the best goddamn show possible.
Exactly. And that Jungle Rot and Destruction show you played, I mean, that pit opened up like crazy, so.
We're hoping for the same tonight. You know, it's a less of a like extreme thrash audience, but I think that people have been responding really well. We're playing the whole new record too, so especially the late, like the end of the record gets like less moshing and more atmospheric and stuff. So it's a more diverse set from us, even though we're only playing one record. It's cool, you know.
Yeah.
I'm excited about that, and the reactions have been pretty good so far. But I think, you know, we're in New York City. We happen to land on a Friday, which is very nice, and so we have high hopes for the show.
Yep. So none of the Jersey people will be going home early.
Okay. Well, that's good. I mean, if I were a Jersey person, I wouldn't want to go home to that state in the first place. Sorry, sorry, guys.
That's a joke we always have on the podcast. But the latest record is
I don't even know why. Just everyone loves to joke about New Jersey, and I guess I'm on that bandwagon too.
Oh, I'm gonna get a lot of New Jersey hate mail, but
sorry, guys. We love you. We play Trenton. We have a great time playing for
home of God forbid. We love you.
Okay. God forbid we go there again. Though.
Yeah. I see what you did there. Yeah. So the latest record is "Oh to the Vanquished," and right?
Woe to the Vanquished.
Woe to the Vanquished.
Not oh. You know.
Yeah. Fucking damn it. But and the record, you know, I checked it out, and it was absolutely awesome. And it combines, I've noticed, a lot of elements of like thrash and atmospheric metal and stuff like that. So when you record like new music, like "Woe to the Vanquished," did you like find it a little bit easier to kind of like experiment and throw in different elements in it?
The last record before this was the really experimental one. What this one kind of is we had a chance to sort of retroactively view our whole first 4-album career and kind of pick and choose the elements we thought were the strongest and the best, and sort of breed from the influences of our own damn records what we think is a stronger, faster, better, more mature, and better performed version of the band. And that's pretty much what we think we've done on Woe to the Vanquished. We took some of the prog and like dark melodic influence that crept into like half of Empires. We ditched what I consider to be the less successful experiments on that record, like the punk rock influence. That was really John Locke's deal anyway, and he's not here anymore, so I get to do straight metal again. Awesome. and we pretty much just did that and had a lot of different song ideas. We wanted the record to not end the same as it starts, though. That was really important. We wanted it to be an extreme, brutal thrash album, but written with songs. Songs like the Beatles had songs, or like in metal, like Metallica or Maiden had songs, you know. So we want to find that line between a record that's going to completely blow your head off, that's going to make Slayer sound soft, and a record that's also going to have the hooks, the catchiness, the songwriting, and to have the songs not run together. So we're trying to sort of batten a 10 out of 10 in every department on this record. But I think the band's got the experience now, and kind of there's a huge fire under our ass in order to even bring the band back into existence from the last record. And so we worked really hard on this. We recorded the entire record ourselves before we went to the studio. And then recorded it again.
That must have saved a little time, though, right?
No, it takes a lot of time, because recording a record twice takes more than doing it once.
Yeah.
But the thing that it does is it allows us to critique ourselves better and have less stuff that we wish we would change after we're done with the record. Because we listen to our own demo versions, then the stuff we want to change about that, we actually can. We have a chance to listen back to the songs, live with them for a while. Our demo versions had fake drums. They didn't even sound bad, though. Carlos used that to help write his parts, and then some of the shit, he was like, oh, God damn it, I wrote this. Now I got to learn to play it. So it was very different the way it was done in that regards to our previous records, but it really worked. It was a little more analytical and meticulous, the writing style on this one, and I think it just shows in the complete absence of fat on the record.
Of course, which I think is great. You kind of just you took away the right amount, and you pretty much just I've always heard a saying, a record is fully complete when you have nothing left to take out, and it seems like that's what you were trying to do, right?
More or less, yeah. There's only 8 songs. I mean, one of them's really long. So actually, every Warbringer record had a running time within a minute of 40 minutes. They're War Without End's the shortest record at 39 minutes, and I think Worlds is the longest at 41 and a half. They're all about exactly the same length, and that wasn't on purpose either. But I think it's a funny thing. I think for a extreme thrash metal record, you don't really want an hour-long record of that, because you've simply made the point by then. If you're playing upwards of 200 BPM for a good chunk of the record, it's a lot of fucking content if you're going to play a really long record with that kind of speed and aggression. That emotion, too, I think wears itself out, because it's such a high, that level of aggression is such a high energy thing. And that's why by the end of the album, the emotion has really changed to this more dark spiritual desolation rather than the just berserk rage that it starts with.
Of course, yeah. And I mean, I even wondered how freaking Metallica was able to do that with Master of Puppets and Ride the Lightning with their 9.5 minute songs and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Track and Force or something like that.
Absolutely. Well, just having a long song isn't challenging, but making a long song that doesn't have any fat on it, I think is. Guns Fell Silent is 11 fucking minutes, so it's really long. Personally, I think it has to be because of what it's about. It's about, kind of the long drag and spiritual desolation that people felt during the First World War, which was a thing that just kind of went on and on and on pointlessly and bloodily. And so if it was a short song, it wouldn't really capture it. It needs to be a long, exhausting, march through the mud and rain and shit, then ends really grim and on an unfinished, unsettled note. So in that way, I think musically it actually really matches the thing I tried to make it about. And we drew on some poetry and stuff for the intro and actually one of the verses. And then we also musically are, 'cause that's the lyrical and conceptual thing. And just like Maiden songs, when they did an epic song, it's always fitted. It always has a setting.
Yep.
Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner, you're on a boat. Ace High, you're flying. Trooper, you're on a horse. Hallowed be thy name, you're in death row, you're in a prison cell. And the music and the lyrics always go together on all the best Maiden songs. They're one good example. There's many. And I always love that idea of the sense of a setting. So I tried to be doing that on every Warbringer song. And this record, too, Woe to the Vanquished is Ancient Rome, Remain Violent, you're in the city, a modern city street. Silhouettes is nuclear Holocaust future.
Yeah.
Guns Fell Silent and Shellfire are on the Western Front, World War I. Divinity of Flesh is like space philosophy.
Yeah. So do you think of these ideas and then like the rest of the band writes according to that, or do you hear like the music and you think, "Ooh, this is a good idea to sing along with this"?
Both.
Really?
Yeah. Silhouettes was Silhouettes and Guns Fell Silent were the first of those.
Yep.
Then other ones like Spectral Asylum was purely all the music was written, and I had the title from like an old unused song we had, and I put it with that one because it fit really well. And sometimes that just happens, or I'll like Woe to the Vanquished and Descending Blade, like Adam wrote the main verse riff sets as they were, and then I put the title on them, and then they evolved further based on that. But I always insist that the concept be central to the writing, that lyrics aren't just an afterthought, because I don't think you make great songs that way.
Yeah, of course, exactly. And one final question I wanted to ask before we go, and first of all, thanks again so much for your time. Obviously, the type of music that you are, you've toured in this year alone, you were like on a thrash and death metal tour with like Jungle Rot and Destruction, and now you're touring with like a Swedish, death metal band. A lot of people who listen to bands like In Flames or Soilwork or The Haunted are going to be here tonight and stuff like that. So I'm just curious, how different, have you noticed a different type of audience depending on the bills that you're on?
Not too much, honestly. Even though I'd say the Swedish melodic death metal sound isn't as blow your head off as we are, it's still harsh vocals. It's still a lot of shredding guitars and stuff. It's still definitely metal, and I think there's a lot of common ground between there. And hell, we even have songs on the record like Divinity of Flesh where we kind of leave the Bay Area and take a little tour of Sweden, so to speak, And we've always done that. Future Age is Gone from Worlds does that a little bit, and we've always had a touch of that anyway, because we're a thrash metal band, but we are one that stretches our legs outside the strict borders of that genre into all neighboring territory, and so therefore I think we can tour with damn near any metal band, as long as you want to hear something hard with guitars, we fit,
Exactly.
And I think we're a really strong live band. So I think even people that don't know us come away really impressed most of the time. I think that's probably where we're strongest is live.
All right, that's actually a good saying. And I was taking photos of you during when you played here with Destruction and Jungle Rot, and I was blown away by the stage presence. You had that much energy, and singing those high vocals as you do it. I was running out of breath looking at you.
It's a bitch.
Yeah.
I kill myself a lot. I sleep 10, 12 hours a day on tour. It definitely beats me up pretty hard, but that's why it's extreme metal. If you're faking it, or if you take a shortcut, or if you don't hurt after it, well, you're not that fucking extreme, are you?
Exactly.
Exactly.
So again, I want to truly thank you so much for coming on here. Thanks. It means a lot. Everybody, Alex from Heavy New York, John here from Warbringer. Be sure to pick up the new record, Woe to the Vanquished. Whoa. Woe to the Vanquished. It is absolutely kick-ass, and catch them on their tour with Dark Tranquility and Striker, and we will see you next time.